It's Kim and Jen from Fleece Harmony in Belfast,
We're back.
Prince Edward Island, downtown Belfast.
Downtown Belfast.
We were somewhere this week where it's a rural community, and we really do have a downtown compared to that place.
Yeah, although the word downtown might indicate that there would be high-speed internet.
Oh,
Don't be fooled.
Don't be fooled.
And it's sweater weather.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're not sad.
I'm never sad for sweater weather.
Yeah.
I'm sad for snow tire weather.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's not the case yet.
No.
But I'm not sad about sweater weather.
Weather.
Sweater weather.
Beather.
Yes. So if anybody's joining us for the first time, I'm Kim.
And I'm Jennifer.
My sister.
Yep.
And we own a sheep farm in Belfast, Prince Edward Island, Canada. Mm-hmm. And we have sheeps, and we also have a woolen mill where we spin their wool and wool from other farmers on the island into the Fleece Harmony brand of yarn.
Yep.
Dyed with organic dyes.
Yep.
I'm the spinner. Jen's the dyer. And what else do? We have a yarn shop.
Yeah. And we carry Rowan, which is very exciting. Lots of Rowan. More on that later.
Yes, more on that later.
Yeah. And we both had our hairs touched up this week.
Yeah.
No roots.
No.
It's a root-free zone.
It's a root-free zone. Yeah, exactly. So the way this podcast works is that we're avid knitters. So we've always got a couple projects on the go. So we're going to talk about those. But we always do a farm update first. Because not everybody that joins us has had the excitement of being on a real farm. So we talk about things that happen on our farm.
Yeah.
I feel like I should give a warning that we're not a typical farm operation. We have showbiz sheep.
Yeah. I don't think
sheep.
I don't think I was a typical HR person either. But...
Oh, okay. Well, we don't do anything typical.
Right.
So the farm update is that the weather's turning. Mm-hmm. So
leaves are turning. It's going to be stunning.
Yeah. We should actually, when the leaves turn, we should go down on the Klondike Road and actually take a video of the some of the beautiful scenery in Prince Edward Island.
We will have to do that in our spare time.
Yeah. So what were we gonna? We were getting ready to move the sheep. So we're gonna change around the groups because our lambs have, and if anybody that knows anything about sheep, and I'm talking about lambs in September, that's right. That's just how
we messed up.
Good we are. Anyway, we have lambs in August. We had lambs in August by mistake. 20 of them. And
it was a big mistake.
Yeah, so they're all out in the pastures and running around and everything's great. But we do need to move them all into one group for management because we're coming up to actually one of the most dangerous times for sheep as far as the weather goes. So people think that in the middle of winter, when it's snowing, that would be hard on the sheep. But it's actually the shoulder seasons that are.
Because they're wet.
Yes, wet, windy, and cold.
And if they get wet down to the skin, that's a problem.
Yes.
Whereas the snow stays on top.
That's
but I think we talked about this last year sometime.
Yes.
Same time. But if the fleece gets wet down to the skin and then it splits and their skin can be exposed to the air, then they can actually get hypothermia. They'll lose the heat.
Yes. So 5 degrees Celsius, which would be, about 40 Fahrenheit?
Yeah.
So above freezing with wind and rain is actually the most kind of precarious time for a sheep to be outside. And they can survive, obviously.
Right.
They all have like a fleece. They were shorn in March, so they all have almost a full fleece on. But we like to make sure that they have shelter indoors during that time so they can get out of the wind more than anything. It's not
actually, I know we talked about this before because I got on my soapbox about those ads they send around saying don't leave your dog outside and the dog is encrusted in snow.
Yeah, right.
And I don't leave my dog outside.
No.
And I don't advocate having your dog locked outside all the time by any stretch. But the fact that the snow is sitting on top of the fur is actually a good thing.
Yes.
Because if there was body heat loss happening, it would be melted.
That's right.
Just saying.
Yeah.
So if you go by and you see sheep crusted in snow.
Ours look like marshmallows.
Yeah. Then that's great.
Yeah.
They have no heat loss. Not even enough heat loss to melt snow.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I know we talked about this before because I was kind of like, I'm big on animal rights, but when something is misleading
Yeah.
it's still misleading.
Right.
And not melted snow on an animal is not a problem.
When it's snowing.
Melted snow on an animal is a problem.
Yes.
It's kind of like if it was melted on your roof.
Yes.
Your insulation's not working.
That's right. Exactly like that.
Yeah.
And in the winter, I'm sure we'll take pictures as the seasons turn into winter, but we really don't want to talk about it now, but here we are. Anyway, if in the winter, on a bright sunny day in the winter, if it's minus 18 Celsius, the sheep go outside.
Oh, yeah.
They have the choice to be in, but they're outside.
Yeah.
They don't mind.
Yeah, and the same goes for horses, because I've heard of people calling the Humane Society about horses with snow on their backs.
Yeah.
If the snow is still there, the horse is toasty.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they get their furnace stoked up by eating. As long as they've got food to eat.
Their furnace is in their belly.
Yeah. Then
basically they're not people.
Yeah.
So
or whips.
Don't be misled. Yeah. Our furnace is not in our belly. Our furnace is in our basement.
Yeah. Exactly.
I would prefer mine was in my belly.
Yeah.
I'd be warm all the time.
Yeah.
As opposed to living in this farmhouse.
Yeah, that's right.
When we're always freezing.
Yeah. When your tub has little ice pellets where the drops from your last shower are, then you live in a 160-year-old house.
Yeah, and you come down and your dish liquid is solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's chilly. That's how the conditions we live in.
Yeah.
All right, good. When the fires go out overnight.
Yeah. So I don't know if anybody's been following us along, you'll know that a couple episodes we talked about the fact that we have lovely helper that comes a couple times a week, Heather.
Yeah.
And the last time we moved the sheep, she was in charge of the bucket. So Jennifer thought it was just hilarious because the only instructions I gave Heather was stay in front of the sheep and don't drop the bucket. Guess who dropped the bucket?
I dropped the bucket.
Yeah. We weren't moving them, we were just feeding them.
I haven't dropped the bucket in 8 years, and the other day I dropped the bucket.
Yeah.
And it didn't go well. She's got
the footprints on her back to
Yeah. It's like if anyone watch The Walking Dead season premiere, or the premiere of the series, and that horse gets overtaken by zombies, it was kind of similar to that.
You being the horse.
Yeah, I was the horse in this scenario.
Yeah.
You really don't want to drop the bucket. And I was standing right in the middle of them when I dropped it, so they didn't even have to run. They come over you like it's like you're in a mosh pit. I was like, I can't believe I dropped the bucket.
We did have a lamb in a mosh pit.
Oh, yeah. It was more like a blender.
The lambs are eating already. They're eating. So we don't give a lot of grain. We just kind of give grain enough to supplement the dry hay because this we're not feeding new. We weren't feeding new hay yet. We were feeding hay left over from last season, and the nutritional value goes down the older the hay is. So we were using up a little bit that we had left from last year's harvest, and we haven't cracked open this year's yet. So so we give a little bit of grain to the sheep just to even out their nutrition. And the little lambs are already in there in the mix.
They're getting in the mix, thinking they're big sheep now.
Yeah, and there's lots of space. So luckily nobody's really in danger, except I was watching something, and when you see something and you can't really kind of compute what's exactly happening, I couldn't figure out why I could see black legs going like this, and then they disappear, and then I see black legs again, and there was a lamb that was somehow got up on the backs of three adult sheep.
So he was actually crowd surfing.
He was crowd surfing. He would go down in their fleece, so he wasn't on the ground. He was safe. But he'd go down in their fleece, and they've got about this much fleece. So if you've got 3 sheep with about this many inches, there was room for his little body to be there. And he was like he was in the washer machine. And then his feet would come up, and then he'd go on. Anyway, the minute I pushed the sheep apart, he just was on his feet on the ground. So he wasn't hurt or anything, but it was just like you were kind of looking, and I was like, what's going on?
He was in the lamb blender.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Safe and sound.
The times you wish you had your camera.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I put it on Instagram stories, but let's show Nadia doing her on the bale thing. Mm-hmm. So
Nadia.
here's Nadia standing on top of a round bale like she owns the world.
Yeah. So she jumps through the crowd to get up there.
And the rest of them are all like just so inferior. Being,
having
gravity not on their side.
Yeah.
Or whatever. It's hilarious. They're all like, well, how'd she get up there? And she thinks she's just the smartest thing ever. So funny. Anyway, we're not showing the log rolling because we don't do that on purpose because that might be a bit mean.
Yeah.
Even though she can do it.
Yes, exactly. Stays on the top.
You can see a little bit of it at the end. Yeah. She's like, oh, it's moving. Oh my gosh, doesn't stop, remind you. She's up there every morning.
Are we showing it?
Yeah, I just showed it.
Oh, you showed it?
Yeah. Trying to keep up. Okay.
This is where you usually say welcome back.
Oh, welcome
Even
back.
though we don't go anywhere.
I'm showing it as I'm narrating it.
Oh, okay. I have no clue.
I know what's going on. I'm the producer and the director.
And speaking of cameras and movies, again,
right.
For some people that visit us know that we have a pretty humongous old age home.
It's gigantic.
Yes, as our neighbor.
Yeah.
And
it's the biggest employer in the county.
Yes.
And how many beds does it have? 119?
I think so.
Oh my gosh.
Might even be more.
It's mammoth.
Might be more.
It's on our front lawn.
Sort of, yeah. Anyway, so we they do all kinds of activities for the residents there, which is great. And I think they decided that they wanted to have a drive-in.
So fun. I was totally going to crash. I saw the blow-up screen going up, and I was like, I'm going to go watch that.
Yeah, so they were out with a company that comes, and they had like drive-ins we still have active drive-ins
Which
here,
is amazing.
Which is amazing. And now it's all about the drive-in.
Yeah.
Because you can go in your car. And
I went to see Garth Brooks. It was amazing.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, so they were setting up a little drive-in. They weren't driving. I'm not sure how they were.
It was maybe a wheel-in.
Yeah.
Or a walk-in.
A walk-in, yeah. Anyway, what happened? It was windy.
So it went up?
Yeah, I don't know if it's like a tail end of one of the hurricanes. We didn't get a hurricane, but it might have been the tail end.
It was probably like 40-kilometer winds.
Yeah, it was a little brisk.
They tried to set up this blow-up screen.
Yeah.
So like the tripod-y thingy that was holding the whole thing was blow-up.
Oh, I didn't. How did I miss it?
I don't know because it was up for like 5 minutes, and I came into the shop and I was like, "That's not gonna work. It's way too windy to have a blow up drive-in screen happening in the parking lot." And then 2 minutes later, I turned around and it was back down.
Yeah, and I guess the question is, did it go down on purpose, or did it go down
they
by
probably
itself?
got it up, and then when they saw the size of it with the resistance, they figured out it probably wasn't going to work.
Yeah, and
I'm
it was
guessing.
getting windier,
or it was just a trial run, and they
aborted the mission.
Yeah, so then there was no drive-in.
No. So big topic of conversation over dinner though at our place, because Ken and I were discussing it, the fact that the drive-in was aborted, and he said, I know what they were playing too. It's too bad. I said, you do? I said, why is he Gone with the Wind?
Probably took him between setup time and dinner to think of that.
Yeah. Anyway, we have no idea what they were showing. Maybe Cocoon.
Oh God, I'm glad we don't have a swimming pool.
Yeah. Anyway, because sometimes Ken is. Sometimes he just comes on
really funny. Okay.
I'll never forget when we were watching Hamlet. Why was Hamlet popular as a movie at one time? Was it
I have no idea.
Branagh?
It was like a Shakespeare revival. They did Shakespeare in Love, Romeo and Juliet 4 times, Hamlet.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Ken has never actually read Hamlet or studied Hamlet. But I don't know why this eye keeps watering. But anyway, excuse me. We were watching it, and it was the whole big soliloquy. What is it?
Soliloquy.
Soliloquy when in the middle of the most dramatic part of it. And Ken wouldn't be playing on his phone because we watched it before there was phones, but he was doing something, not paying attention. And then all of a sudden you hear his voice. Mom and I are like trying to keep up, listening to the whole thing, very dramatic. And then you hear Ken say from the background, "Oh, for God's sakes, get a grip."
Enjoying the movie, are you?
Yeah, right.
Oh my
He was
God.
really into it.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, good. Okay. Good summary.
Yeah.
On that, Ken.
All right.
Okay.
So should we say what we're wearing?
Well, I'm going to talk about this later because people
Okay.
are going to wonder where the heck this materialized from.
Yeah. Okay.
But you're wearing
My Hinterland.
Hinterland by Jen Steingass.
That's right.
Which is really nice.
Yes, which is the yoke is the thistle, and it's Selkirk worsted in pine forest.
Right.
So if anybody's wondering, every time we forget, somebody asks us.
Yeah, and there's an update on what I was wearing in another episode later on in Ask Us Anything too.
Yeah. Okay.
And speaking of Ask Us Anything, the forum is up and running.
Yes.
And I added 2 new threads. That's Ask Kim Anything and Ask Jen Anything.
Yeah.
So we're still doing the general podcast on the air, Ask Us Anything through Ravelry. But if you have specific questions you want to direct to one of the 2 of us in the forum, you can go there. And the forum uses the same login that your shop customer ID that you use to shop with us. And if you haven't signed up yet, go sign up because it's getting kind of fun in there.
Yeah.
And you've been answering things. I haven't had so many questions directed at me yet, I don't think, unless I've missed them. But we tried to set up notifications.
You're right.
So that we now find out when somebody says something.
Yeah.
And that's going to be helpful.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're learning as we go here. But it's still super fun to have it.
Yes.
And I love the way it looks and it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's working fine.
So if you want to be like, Jen, what was that lipstick? That's where you can go.
Yeah.
Because everybody cares. It's the really important stuff. How's your love life? What was that lipstick? Where'd you get those jeans?
Everything?
I'm going to answer everything.
Okay, perfect.
I'm an open book.
Yeah. All right.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't test me.
Keep it clean, folks.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
All right. So our other big thing that's happening is our knit afternoon with Arne, because a lot of people, Arne and Carlos.
Yes.
It's like Pabaigh. We have a hard time pronouncing it correctly.
Arne and Carlos.
Okay.
Right.
And we got to speak with Carlos on the phone, on Zoom.
It was very exciting.
So fun. And he was so delightful.
Yes. We had somebody ask us how excited we were about it because we seemed rather subdued in the last episode. But the truth is, we felt like we had so much explanation to do about all the details.
Refunds
of the tickets
and the time change and the place and the tiers and the...
Yeah.
I mean the ticket tiers, not our tiers.
Oh, yeah, not our tiers. And we were so worried we were going to forget something that we were focused on that. But let me tell you.
We're super excited.
Yeah. And we had a little Zoom meeting with Carlos.
Yes. And with Trisha Malcolm, the former editor of Vogue Knitting, who now works with Rowan.
Yes.
Yes.
And she's like executive brand strategist, I think is her name.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway.
So exciting.
Very knowledgeable.
Yeah.
And very delightful when we spoke with her as well. She's really looking forward to it.
And her presentation is going to be super.
Yes.
Because we got a little sneak peek.
Yeah.
So it's going to be an amazing afternoon. We've selected our 2 Norwegian dessert selections.
Yes. For the people that are there live.
Yeah. It was a tough one. They gave us 4 options.
Yeah.
There was like a whole, well, I don't want to give anything away, but there was a big debate. And of course I was looking for making sure none of them had raisins.
Yes, right. So none of them have raisins.
Right.
So if you don't like raisins in desserts, you're safe.
You're in luck.
Yeah.
And the great thing is we've decided that when we send out the link for the event, everybody's going to get a 10% off discount for the Rowan yarns that are featured in the new Arne and Carlos books.
Right.
Which is the New Nordic and the Cushion collection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New Nordic unisex.
Yes.
Because there are a couple of New Nordic.
That's true. The latest one, the New Nordic unisex collection and the Cushion collection.
Right.
So more on that in the shop update. But everybody who attends, either in person or online, will get a 10% off discount to get either one of those books.
Yeah.
Or the yarns that are featured in the books. And there's only a couple lines that are, or a few lines that are featured in it. So it will be specific to basically purchasing the yarn to make one of those projects in the books.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that is a chance for you to sort of earn back your admission. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a discount.
Yeah.
So what do you have to lose?
Yeah, that's right.
So we'd love for you to join us.
Yes. It's and the in-person one is half
full
sold.
Yeah.
Except that if you're coming with other people, then let us know.
Yeah.
Because then we can fit more people if there's a bubble, like a little bubble.
If you have a bubble group, then that's still just one table.
Yes.
Right? If you're 4 individuals, it's 4 tables.
Yes.
So it's a bit tricky to manage.
Yeah.
But if you have a larger group that you want to come with, that's perfect, because then if you're in a little knitting bubble, like maybe you already have a knitting circle, you want to all come together, then we can seat you together as long as you're all okay with it.
Yeah.
And the room itself is set up for social distancing in terms of the number of people, like capacity-wise, and table service and all that.
Yeah.
So we'll be well looked after.
And some people said, oh, now I'm coming by myself. Don't feel bad. You'll still have a great time.
Yeah.
And you'll be within 6 feet
of a bunch of people.
A bunch of people. And I'm not sure, we have to follow the rules as they're laid out by public health. But I'm not sure if the way those tables are, because they do fit 6 people. If one was sitting close at one end and one was sitting at the other end, you could get 2. I don't know. Anyway, we leave that up to, that's not our territory.
No.
So,
no, we're just the knitters.
Yeah. And even though we have terrible internet here, they have excellent internet there. Yeah. So people that are joining virtually don't need to worry.
No.
We can accommodate.
No, we have technical support.
Technical support. We're not leaving anything to chance.
No, thank goodness.
And the venue has been great. As far as...
We're super excited.
Yeah,
super
really
excited.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun. It's going to be really fun to be in there in person, and it'll also be a great chance to join us online. So who knows what might happen? Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
All right. So you have whips.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whips.
Good for you. I don't know what to say about my knitting progress, but go ahead.
Okay. So I think I'll talk about Paisley first.
Okay.
All right. So I had Paisley back on the needles. Oh, that's a little sneak preview.
Oh, sneak preview.
Next one.
Okay.
All right. And so Paisley is been restarted. So if people don't know what happened, I was not halfway, but a third of the way through the sweater and had ripped the whole thing out for various reasons. One, it was going to be too small. And
that's a good reason.
Yeah. And so really important that, because my gauge was off, and I knew my gauge was off, but there's a whole big section about it in the last episode, so you can go check that. But my gauge was off, and I did a whole bunch of experiments to try to fix my gauge doing two-handed color work.
I can't believe how much you got done.
I know.
What size needles is this on?
3.5. This was 3.25. Anyway, I love knitting this. Good thing.
I can't believe how much you got done.
Yeah.
Huh. I'm going to look really like a slacker, but I've been knitting like crazy.
And look at my gauge.
Yeah. You
can see how even it is.
Okay, well they can't see.
No.
It's very small still.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Well, you need to get a bit more, but
yeah.
You can see the Paisleys coming.
Yes.
A little bit.
Yeah. So there's a whole big story go on in the last episode, and you'll see all about my swatching color work experiment. But this part is really the problem, this little checkerboard part of the sweater, because my gauge it's supposed to be 24 stitches per inch, or per 4 inches, and I was getting 27 on the Paisley part and 30 on the checkerboard part. That was a big problem. Mm-hmm. That's why my sweater was too small. That's an issue?
Okay.
Yeah. So I knew that my gauge was a little bit tighter, so I actually was making a bigger size in the first time, but clearly not big enough. So I made it a mission to fix my gauge in color work and try to get this figured out. And I'm really happy with the way it looks, because it's looking good. However, I'm not going to take any chances. I will keep measuring at every step. And since it's bottom up, I'll put cables in and make sure. But I know that it's bigger than the last one, because I saved the yarn that I took out, and I'm using up the yarn, like all the little pieces for this color work part. I had to add new yarn to it.
Oh wow, already? Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's a lot bigger then.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Well, some of them are just like 1 or 2 stripes, so 1 or 2 rounds around.
Okay.
And with a bigger number of stitches, by the time I came to the end of the band, my little ball that I had saved was gone.
It's good to have those all consolidated. Like, I hate having little bits.
Yes. So now I'm on. This is what was left of how far I went. Mm-hmm. So You're
going through it quick.
It's eating up the yarn, but I got extra yarn. Yeah. I think I mentioned that in the last episode. So it's really, it goes fast. So,
mine's not.
Yeah, and I can see that I fixed my issue, which is really, really
satisfying. And we did 2 different video tutorials on that in just prior episodes, if you want to go back and watch that.
Yeah, so that's that. So that's going to come along fairly quickly. And I'm telling everybody this because I think it's the best little saying that I've heard, is that people were saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe you had to take your sweater out. You must have been heartbroken. And anyway, this meme showed up on my Facebook page, and it said, if you have to redo something, you're not starting from scratch. You're starting from experience.
Yes. And that is important.
Yes. And you know what else? I just want to say, I don't want to get too philosophical about this.
About ripping my knitting?
Or preaching. But, and I don't usually talk like this, but I worked really hard to try to figure out what I did wrong. Like, I really put in the time. I analyzed the way I make every stitch. I did, and, you know, I could just knit easy projects for the rest of my life. I was very discouraged when I ripped it out. I wasn't debating whether I was going to rip it out or not, but I wasn't sure after 3 swatches, or 2, after the second swatch, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to fix it. And I was very disappointed, but I did the 3rd swatch, and I really, like, I even analyzed while I was knitting. My education is in science, by the way. So I did, like, experiments, but I tried to, like, I looked at the way I made my stitches. I looked how I was pulling the yarn, because I couldn't figure out why it was distorting my gauge so much, and I figured it out. And I mean, it's not rocket science by any step of the, or any stretch of the imagination, but I took the time to try to figure it out, and I'm really happy that I figured it out. I have a sense of accomplishment, I think.
Okay, wow. Good for you. Okay.
Yeah. So if you're down in the dumps about your knitting,
there's always hope.
Yeah, there's always hope.
Give me this. Yeah. You're on to your next
one. All right.
Okay. Not that I'm rushing you or anything.
No.
I don't want you to get all misty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Misty. Okay. There's some kind of story about play Misty for me.
We don't know what it is.
Yeah. So the next project that I'm doing, because I figured out with the Sunday Cardigan and doing the Paisley, that this combination works really well for me. Easy project and challenging project.
I'd like to get back to that.
Is a good 2 project for this
knitter?
No. This is a monogamous knitter.
Okay.
2 projects, but on different scales of difficulty, works perfectly for me.
Right.
So Huxley is my next project, which is a sweater for Ken. And this is the swatch that I did for it. Look at me swatching this big.
Wowza.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure.
Good for you.
Yeah. So
it's a good swatch.
It's a pieced swatch, or a pieced sweater. So it's in the flat that you swatch. So this was the first time, when I'm swatching with our own yarns, we kind of know how our yarn reacts now, but this is with the felted tweed held with 1 strand of Kidsilk Haze, which is what the pattern calls for. And I haven't knit with the felted tweed before, so I wasn't sure how it would react before it was blocked or after it was blocked. So I really wanted to do a good job on the swatch, and it's very different after you block it than it is
larger, looser.
Yes, looser.
Okay. It gives a lot.
Yes.
Okay.
So
during blocking.
Yeah. So I always start with the suggested needles, and when I measured the gauge before I blocked it, I was a little bit too loose, which I was happy I was too loose, because I wasn't really loving the fabric. Okay. Because it's pretty drapey and loose. Right. I found it kind of open.
Blousy?
Yeah, and drapey. Okay. So like you can see your finger through it and stuff. So I was glad that it was wrong.
Okay.
Because I wanted to make it right. So so the gauge is 18 stitches for 4 inches or 10 centimeters. I got 17 and a bit. So I was pretty close. But when I blocked it, I'm not quite at 16. So it's 15 and
so
almost
it's a lot
16.
looser than
it's a lot looser. Okay. And I didn't pin it.
Okay.
I just soaked it, and then I laid it out on our blocking mat. So I didn't pin it. So I'm going to go down a full needle size.
Perfect. Are you going to swatch again? Or are you going to start it now?
I'm going to go to a 4.5 millimeter. I don't know what that is in US. I think it's going to be okay, but I think I'm going to be able to tell if it's not.
Okay.
And I don't mind, it's pieced.
Right.
So I don't mind, I'll get the rib done, which is on a smaller needle size anyway. And I'll do a few inches of the straight knitting and then measure it.
Kind of get an idea.
Yeah, so if it's unwashed, so if it's tighter than 16 and some, or 17 stitches, then I know I'm on the right track. So
okay. And this is felted tweed with Kidsilk Haze.
Yes.
And it's beautiful. And what are the two colors?
Yeah, so it's ancient in the felted tweed, which is color number 172.
Okay, lovely.
With drab, which I think it's a shame that they call this drab.
I know, it's beautiful.
Yeah, which is
they
611.
Look great together.
Yeah. So you can see just how it changes slightly. Just livens it up, or it makes it richer.
It's beautiful. Adds luster and fluff.
Yeah.
Fluster.
Yeah. Let's hope it doesn't add fluster. Anyway, it knits up super fast.
Or you could say luff. It adds luff.
Yeah.
Luff to the...
to fly like fluster better. But it knits up super fast.
Right.
It's really easy to knit with. The yarn is it's lovely. I've never knit with felted tweed. It's one of the most popular yarns in the world, I think. But
I'm sorry. That just reminds me of when I was a kid. My favorite blizzard at Dairy Queen was the pecan cluster blizzard. Yeah. And I remember Dad was going through the drive-thru one time, and I was like, I need a pecan cluster blizzard. He was like, what? He was immediately nervous. And when he got up there, he said, I need a bleak can fluster gizzard. Which, of course, I got in trouble for because the man did not like to be embarrassed.
Yeah, he still does it. He still does it.
A fluster gizzard. Okay.
Well, he knew it was going to be a problem. Okay. Something hit the floor.
I know.
I have no idea.
Noise. We have no idea.
There was nothing on it. So.
It was my fluster gizzard.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it. So that pattern, Huxley, is out of ROWAN Magazine 66, which is last winter's magazine. And I hesitated to pick a pattern out of that because we have 68 coming, like at the end of the month. But I looked at the magazine on Ravelry when you select the option to see all the patterns in the book. And there's a lot of really nice patterns in there. So we ordered the book.
Okay. That's in the shop update.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So I can't start the sweater till I get the book because I need the pattern. So that'll be on hold. We're getting it on Thursday. So,
right.
Yeah.
We're getting it tomorrow.
The book.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
I am sad. I have
sad?
the same width. I didn't know this, but I think 3 millimeters is a pretty small needle. So it's my Pabaigh, and I really do dearly want to be able to wear this year. And I did
be wearing a t-shirt under it.
I did get a lot done. So I finished the body. Yeah, it's all curled up. It's obviously not blocked.
Yeah.
And I grafted the shoulders, Kitchener stitch, which went pretty well until here.
You're the master of the Kitchener
Well,
stitch.
I am not.
Oh.
And I don't know how I always end up doing it at 10 o'clock at night, but that is not the good plan.
No.
So, you know what I did? I made a boo-boo and I got it off. I mean, I'm just going to block it out. I don't know, you can tell it. I got a little off kilter here about...
You're on the wrong stitch, you mean?
Far in, yeah. Like I got over one, and the reason is... And I always end up with an uneven number at the end. And I know why now, because when you're Kitchener stitching and you've got that loop going and you're trying to keep it off the tips of the needles, if the loop accidentally catches, you go through and work it the following Kitchener stitch.
Okay.
And it's just the end of the loop. It's not an actual stitch.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I kind of like did a yarn over and then basically incorporated that into my Kitchener stitch. But you know what? I wasn't picking it out in a single ply tweed.
No.
Because sewing with that is challenging.
Well, can you see it? I can't even see it.
Well, yeah, you can.
You can?
It starts right here.
Oh, because it's off. The stitches are
off by a V.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
Yeah. So what's the adage? Can you see that on a galloping horse going past you?
Right. No. And I haven't blocked it yet. And it's right up on the shoulder, and honestly.
Yeah.
I just didn't care at this point.
It just looks like the seam.
So now, what's left to do here is just a few... There's no sleeve, per se. I'm just adding ribbing to these caps.
Oh, okay.
8 rows.
You have to pick
Nothing doing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then other side. of course. And then, but this funnel neck is 13 inches.
Oh, okay.
In 3 millimeters. I actually thought I'd be able to finish, but that's taking a while.
Yeah.
13 inches is a lot of knitting, and it's 120 some stitches around right now. And of course, the colors.
Are you magic looping
still beautiful. I'm magic looping it.
Why are you doing that?
Because I couldn't find a 3 millimeter and 16 inch. 16 in a 3 fixed.
Well, we've got the set.
I know, it's in my hat. It's in my Terradale hat.
3 millimeter?
Yeah.
Both sets, the short and the long ones?
No, but the cable. The cable is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'd have to take another cable from the store.
Yeah. Okay.
Which I can do.
Well, if you would like to do magic loop.
It's not. It's such a big loop. It's not really bothering me. It's like single magic loop. It's not really bothering me. If I really wanted to, I'd go out and just get another cable and put the shorties on it.
There's every combination you can imagine in the
I just didn't want to go open anything.
That's all right.
So I chose to do it this way.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping I'm going to get some more length when I block this still. Because as you can see, it's quite cropped. I added an inch already. But I think I'm going to have lots of yarn left. I have another whole ball after this.
Yeah.
So I could have added 2 or 3 inches.
Have altogether?
I think 8.
8?
For the size I bought.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, then you go through it fairly quickly then.
It does. You do go through it fairly. It's a 50-gram ball. It's 100 yards. It's not as much as you think. And this funnel this is only 4 inches. I have to do 13 and a half.
Yeah. Okay.
So might not have
3 times
as much left as we think.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, that's as far as I got.
Okay.
Definitely be done by next episode.
I think I have a t-shirt.
For sure.
Like a long sleeve t-shirt that might match that that you could wear.
Yeah, that would be great. I'm going to need something under it.
It's like a tight-fitting Calvin Klein.
Oh, good.
Whatever.
Bring that over.
Yeah.
Definitely. So that's our whips. And now we have FOs.
Yeah, so do we want to talk about the buttons on the...
Oh, yes. You want to do a little tutorial on that.
So the Sunday cardigan is blocked. And I've been wearing it around without the buttons. But I am going to put the buttons on. And I
love these buttons.
Yeah.
But they're gone now, right?
Yeah.
Some people bought them.
Like a little couple.
And they were discontinued. We were devastated.
Yes, I know. They're really nice. So what I'm going to talk about in the tutorial is, and thank you, by the way, for all the comments about references for putting buttonholes in button bands. Unfortunately, you can't do it with this sweater, or I wouldn't do it. You could do it. But I wanted to wait until it was done to put the buttons on as recommended in the pattern because I wasn't exactly sure how it was going to fit. So what I'm going to show is how you do these afterthought buttons. But what I wanted to talk about is the
afterthought buttonholes.
Buttonholes, I should say, yes. And what I want to talk about is how I'm going to decide the placement of the button.
You're going to talk about that now or in the tutorial?
Well, I'll just give a brief. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to place the buttons so that we avoid, I want to make sure one of the buttons is right here.
At the stress point.
At the stress point, and probably somewhere over my tummy. I'm going to want make sure that I have the buttons in the right spot. So I'm going to choose this placement of the buttons with the sweater on.
Based on your anatomy, not on equidistant button placement. Which is what I did with mine, and then I had a huge gap at the bust.
Because clearly you're going to need the button in the neck band.
Yeah.
So that one is not movable. And you're going to want the button in the ribbing at the bottom. So that one's not movable. So the 3 in the middle will need to be placed. And I don't really care if they're exactly equidistant. I want them in the right place.
Yeah. So it'll hold the sweater together. Although you're not probably going to have gaping because yours is roomy.
Yes,
but on mine, it really turned out to be an issue.
Yeah, but I still don't want to have... I want to make sure that they're in the right place.
But since it's an afterthought button, I could move mine, Yeah. I could undo the stitching, like when you show the tutorial. It's just stitching. And yeah.
So that's it. I love this sweater. Mm-hmm. And I wore it the first day that it was kind of breezy and kind of chilly in the breeze. Ken and I were going up to Green Gable Alpaca, actually, to see Janet. And I had put the sweater on when I was outside because it was cool. I was perfectly comfortable. And then I got in the car, and then the sun was shining in the car, and it was a lot warmer. I was still perfectly comfortable. Wasn't too hot. So it's kind of, I think it's because it's knit in sort of a loose gauge.
It's very lofty.
Yeah, lofty. So it's kind of regulates the temperature. So really, I'm happy with this. That's
all right. So we're going to go over to the tutorial and watch you do these afterthought buttonholes, and you'll see these beautiful buttons, which I'm sorry you can't buy.
Yeah. That's too bad. So here we are, and if you hear any noise, my trusty assistant Hannah is sitting right next to me, as always, on these videos. Jennifer's dog. So here's the buttons for my Sunday cardigan. So the first thing that I did was I placed the button in the top of the neck band, or the buttonhole in the neck band. That was my practice one. And then I tried on the sweater and I tested to see where I wanted the button that was going to be close to the bust would go. And it ended up being about here. So that meant that it was a little bit too far of a gap for one button. So I had to add a second one in here. This will be the third button on my bust. And then I knew that I wanted another button about here in the ribbing on the bottom hem. So I had to figure out what the spacing was of these three buttons in particular. So I started with 5 buttons, but I'm actually going to do 6. And I just adjusted these around in between this space so that they're roughly the same width, but my limiting factor was that this one could not be down here. It had to be somewhere in a span of about here, these 2 inches or so, to give the coverage on the bust that I wanted. So we're all set to go. I've marked all the buttons and where they're going to go, or the holes are going to go, and I'm going to start sewing them now. So this is my button. I need to be able to fit this button through a hole that I'm going to just stretch into the button band. I did that on here, and what I wanted was something that I can squeeze the button through, but not super easily. I want it to be a little bit tight, and you can see that that's working perfectly there. I know from doing this one that if I stick almost 2 fingers through like this, that's the right width. So that's what I'm going to do here. So before I get started, I'm going to just turn this over because I'm going to start on the back. I'm going to, here's my yarn. I'm using the Kidsilk Haze with the Garfield Grizzly, the double strand, the same as what I knit the sweater with. And I'm just going to take this little knot out that I did. And I can see that it's right here. So I'm just going to create I'm just going to secure the end of the thread here, and then I'm going to start stretching where I want the button hole. So I'm going to go right here. So if you can see what I'm doing, it takes a little bit of stretching to do this. So this should be right. I'm just going to test that. And yep, the button goes through, but I can feel a little bit of resistance on the side. So that's perfect. So now I'm going to start from the back, and then I'll switch to the front because you want to make sure that your stitches are neat in the front. I'm going to go through the 2 legs of the knit stitch that's right there, and I'm just going to do that a couple times. And then I'm going to start from the front, and I'm keeping my 2 fingers in there, and I'm going to bring the yarn to the front. There's the 2 loops that I made are right there, and I'm inserting the needle from underneath to the front like this, and I'm taking 2 threads, so I'm taking 2 strands of the knitted sweater because I want it to be a little bit rounded, and I'm just pulling it through. And then the next one I'm doing the same thing, and I'm putting it a yarn's width away from the first one that I made. And the trick is just to take your time, as always with these type of things, and just knit along here, or not knit, sew along here like this, and I'm just laying down that strand right next to the strand that's there, and I'm not pulling it tight until I have it in the right position, so that I'm really making a like a traditional, what looks like a traditional. So there's the loop that I just made. I'm putting the needle yarn width away and pulling the next one. Just making sure. They're laying next to each other. I'm pulling it fairly tight, keeping my finger in there. And I'm about to turn the corner, so before I turn that corner, I'm just going to put the button through again, just to make sure that I've got the right room, but not too much. Yep, so there's just a bit of resistance. So now I'm going to turn the corner, and I'm going to take a little bit, go further in a little bit. And I'm just going to do 2 because I want to keep it fairly narrow so that the button is not slipping out. So I'm just going to turn this around a bit more. Still keeping my sizing fingers. Okay, so this one is actually a little too far. I'm just going to move that. You don't want to, like I said, you just want to keep it a yarn width. Okay, and I'm going to be really careful to keep this one really close because it's at the edge of where the button is probably going to get a bit more wear and tear. Okay, so now I'm ready to go around the corner, laying this sewing thread right next to the last loop that I made. You can see what I'm doing here. So here, this is creating a little bit of a gap. So I'm going to just catch that the next one of these threads here, just to give it a little bit more stability. But I don't want it to be too wide, so I'm not going to overdo that. I'm just going to, I'm eyeballing it as I go. And I'm making sure that it's staying, okay. So it looks like there's a little piece of Kidsilk Haze that's loose there, so I'm going to make sure that I catch that with the next one, because I don't want that to get caught in my button. So I'm just kind of making a judgment call about how if I want to go over how close. If I'm a little bit far on one that I did, I'm just going to do another one to fill the space, another loop. And now we're all the way around already, so, and I'm going to do a couple loops at the edge, the same as what I did. So the one thing that you have to keep in mind is that once you have this done all the way around, it does take off some of the elasticity of the buttonhole. So I'm just going to double check again. I want this to be like this, so I'm going to tack this over to the side a little bit. Keeping that. Looks like I have really just one more loop to do. See, oh, one more. Fill that little gap that's there. Almost in the same spot again. Okay, and that should do it. So I'm just going to go in through this whole thing. It's a little bit stiff. That will help to anchor the final thread. Double check with my button. Before I cut the thread. Oh. Yeah, perfect. It slides through, but I do have to give it a little bit of a push, so that should be nice and secure. If by mistake you have made the buttonhole a little too wide, you can just go around the second time and make the edging a little bit thicker, and then that will reduce the size of the buttonhole. So this one seems to be fine. I think it's going to be fine, but actually after I've worn the sweater and have buttoned and unbuttoned and a number of times, if I find that that's a little bit too open, then that's what I'll do. I'll just do another round around the buttonhole. And now I'm just going to make sure that this is really secure. So I'm going to run this in through around the edge to get rid of the end. And the other end is tacked down already, so because we did that, and then that's really it. And then once I have all the buttonholes done, I'm just gonna stretch this a little bit so that it's not doesn't create a round part, and just manipulate it a little bit, and then that's really it. And these buttons will go right on here, and they match almost perfectly. So in my case, the buttons will be understated, but this would look fantastic with really bright buttons, maybe bright fuchsia or multicolored even as well, but you can decide what to do, what kind of look you want for your own project. So, and that's it.
All right. Well, that is not a process I love, but it is fairly simple.
Yes.
Just a tiny, it's not even really tedious. It's just, I don't know.
Fiddly a little bit.
A little bit fiddly.
Yeah.
And it feels kind of imprecise, but.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
We're living on the edge.
We're living on the edge. Okay. So that's that. So, FO time.
Okay.
Pass me that pile.
Okay. A pile. There's a pile of FO.
What have I been up to? Well, nothing.
Yeah.
I haven't done anything. So we said everybody, okay, Susan, if you're watching.
Yeah.
The Selkirk flip mitts, hundreds of downloads.
Yes.
I mean, people loved the pattern, and yes, we gave it away, and of course that helps with its popularity.
You know, I forget who it was, but maybe she wouldn't want to be mentioned anyway. But I don't know if you read that email or not of a customer that actually made a donation to her local animal shelter.
Yeah, in place of having to pay for the pattern.
Yeah, it was really nice.
So lovely.
Yeah.
And we know that free patterns are controversial, but Susan absolutely did it as a hobby, and that's the way she wanted it, and we respected her wishes, so we gave it away.
Yeah. And we loved it.
And everybody has a pair now. So these are... Oh, you don't have a pair?
No.
Oh. Everybody else has a pair.
Not knit by us.
No, Jennifer Hicks knit these.
Yes.
So once I saw hers, which are our sample, but she'll get it back in time for mitten season, I wanted them in amethyst brooch, Selkirk worsted.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, I love purple.
Yeah.
And even this goes...
Yeah.
And this is autumn birch, Selkirk worsted, and these are Ken's.
Yes.
And I don't know what to say about them. We love them.
Yeah.
They are...
It's a great
fantastic.
Pattern. Yeah.
So thank you again, Susan, and I will link to the pattern again. We sold all kinds of blueberry preserves, Selkirk worsted, after seeing last episode because they are stunning, and a few people bought other colors too, including some variegated and stuff, but we thought you might want to see them in these too.
Yeah.
This is really nice.
Yeah.
The color that Ken picked out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful. So thank you again, Jennifer, for knitting those. And speaking of that, I'm wearing something that Jennifer knit.
Yeah.
Which she finished a little while ago. It's hard to get the mitten off with the mitten on the other hand. I'm stuck. But I hadn't seen it because I missed the knit night when she finished it.
Yeah.
And we wanted to show it today because it's a stunning project and it's done in our yarn and some ROWAN Kidsilk Haze. So this is Dawning in our sock weight, which I don't typically make, but I'm going to put some up so that you can buy some, and we'll do some out of the next batch of sock yarn, which is all ready to go out there, pretty much. So I'm just going to dye it up. We'll list like 12 of them. Yeah. So this takes 2
balls of sock yarn.
2 balls of the sock yarn plus 2 balls of Kidsilk Haze in Purplicious. Yeah. And so this is Dawning and this is Purplicious. And this is the Rocket Tee by Tanis Fiber Arts. Yeah. And
so cute.
Yeah, and we're just going to show a picture of Jennifer wearing it because it is her sweater and she knit it.
It looks stunning on her.
When
she walked into knit night, everybody was like, "Oh my goodness!"
Well, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
and obviously it doesn't fit me the same way it fits her, but I still love it.
Yeah.
I mean, I just have a little tank top underneath it. It's comfy as anything, so it's a project that you wouldn't have to be really fussy about gauge, clearly. Now, Jennifer modified the pattern slightly because she wanted a looser fabric, so she's knit this in a 6mm.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I know, right? With 20 stitches per inch, and then she just knit a smaller size.
Right.
So she didn't want it to be bigger, but she wanted the fabric to be looser in terms of density.
The opposite of what I'm doing with Huxley.
Right. Yeah. So she wanted a more open fabric, and so she went up to a 6mm because the pattern calls for a 3.75mm.
Oh, okay. That's quite a difference.
It's a big difference. Yeah, so that's why I'm letting everybody know. Because if they go to knit the Rocket Tee, they'll be like, well, how did she get that lovely loose? Well, she knitted in a 6mm and then decided what size she needed to knit to get the circumference she wanted. Right. But you could equally do it in a 3.75, but I'm gathering then it would take more yarn. Yeah. So I can't speak to that. You'd have to go by the pattern specs to figure out how much to buy.
Back again to the swatching gauge thing, or yarn substitution, knit it to the fabric you want, and then just figure out.
Yeah, and this is pretty loose. Yeah. But I love that she did it in a 6mm, and I love this combination of colors. And then you get the autumn birch mitts happening, and I mean, it's making me so happy just wearing it. I was supposed to be just showing it, and I'm like, I'm putting that on. Yeah. I love it. It's very comfy.
Yes, and it's very flattering. Like, it's flattering on, I've seen a couple pictures, and when Jennifer walked through the door with it, we were just like, whoa.
Yeah, it's stunning.
Gorgeous. And Jennifer just told me before she left today that she thinks that she saw a long sleeve version of it. So
another fun fall project. Yeah. The Rocket Tee. Yeah. Tanis Fiber Arts. She has some great patterns. Yeah. And this one was knit in our stuff. So I will link to Dawning in the sock yarn below, and the Purplicious Kidsilk Haze if you want to get one of these. The color is so flattering on everybody. I think purple is really great like that. Purples and burgundies tend to be flattering on most people. So that's the FOs. Not all of them ours. None of them ours. But FOs nonetheless. No. They're like
FOs for all.
SFOs. Yeah. Stolen FOs. Yeah. All right. So now fun shop update. Tons of stuff has come in. Yeah. So first of all, the ROWAN Magazine 66. Yes. Which is an older one. Because 68 is coming out soon. Yeah. Yeah. But we got it in stock because you're knitting the Huxley out of it.
That's right.
So we're going to do a little ROWAN 66 slideshow. Okay.
Lovely.
So we have that available. We don't have a ton of them because it's a back issue.
It's a back issue, so I ordered some, but I checked to see what the inventory was like at ROWAN before I did that, and then because Ken really wanted that sweater. Right. That was the sweater he wanted. So there you have lots. So
okay,
we can reorder.
So we can get more, but for now we have a few, and not everybody's going to want to go to a back issue. They'll be probably waiting for 68 to come out shortly. Yeah, but we've now seen some of the patterns, so that gives you an idea of what's in it. And of course, you can always go on Ravelry and see all of the patterns that are in any of these books. I just like to show the slideshow on here.
You just can't buy them individually.
You can't buy them individually. Yeah. No, you have to buy the magazine to get them. Okay, so also. Can you pass me the Rowan books?
Yeah.
So we talked about these last time, but we didn't have them here physically because we're always recording a couple days before, and we're always recording on a Wednesday, and our Rowan shipment arrives on Thursdays.
Yeah.
So we have the Cushion Collection, which is by Arne and Carlos.
Yes.
And these were previously available individually, but now they're in a book.
Yes.
It's the reverse of what.
Yeah.
Or they probably are still available individually, but it's a much better value to buy the book with all of them in it.
Right.
So these are the cushions.
Yeah.
They're beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah, and this book is, I don't want to say the price because if you're watching this 3 years from now, it might not be the same, but it's a very reasonably priced book.
Yes.
Yeah,
almost like you can't believe it.
You can't believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, I'll just do a slideshow with these.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
The Cushion Collection.
Right.
And
so they're all made in soft yak DK, which is a cotton and yak blend.
Right.
Which makes sense.
Beautiful.
So
sturdy.
Yes.
Okay.
And cotton, which makes
sense for a cushion.
Yeah.
And we have all the colors of it in stock.
Yes. So I just want to make a comment about one part of this because I thought it was really, really smart to do. And I'm happy to show it since we sell all the colors, is that both of these books actually have a complete shade card.
That's so cool.
Of all the colors that are made in the yarns that are used. So all of the shades of soft yak DK are shown here. So if you wanted to change, it's really good.
Smart.
Yeah.
Because if you want to substitute, you can do all your little shopping and experimentation.
And the color is true.
Yeah. Really nice.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, great.
Yeah. So all of the shades of soft yak DK are shown in here, and we have them all. And then if you want to talk about...
So this is the new Nordic Unisex collection.
Right.
We're going to go do a slideshow.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's not all of, but a lot of the patterns that are in here. And of course, again, you can look on Ravelry and see every single one that is featured in the book. But I just love these two.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this sweater.
Yes.
Rain. We don't know if we're saying that right.
Yeah.
Do we ever?
Yeah.
So just to loop back, the discount that you're going to get with your ticket purchase includes the Soft Yak DK, which is in the cushion book, and these lines featured in here, which is Alpaca Classic, Kidsilk Haze, Felted Tweed,
and that's it.
That's it. Oh, Kidsilk Haze and Felted Tweed.
Yeah.
So we have all of these.
All the colors.
It's hard to imagine, is it not? No, we haven't got the K Facet ones loaded yet.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So the K Facet colors are being launched at the same time as the number 68 magazine.
Okay.
Which is the 1st of October. So we have them ordered.
Right.
They're
not available on our website yet.
No.
So if you want those ones, you'll have to wait a couple weeks.
Yeah.
But yeah, this book is actually also pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
I mean, it's stunning. It's all, well, you just saw the slideshow. A lot of sweater patterns. So it's a really good value for that.
And it's all unisex.
Yeah.
And so they give the sizes all the way to a woman small, all the way up to a large for men.
Right.
So
perfect.
Yeah.
So that's the 2 books. And then in terms of the new yarns, so we've got the Soft Yak is new to our store. Every color of that is on the way, and then Alpaca Classic we have a bit of, but we're now completing the collection, so all of those are available. And Felted Tweed we've shown tons of times. Yeah. But this Alpaca Classic is beautiful, soft yarn too. It's very light, so 25 grams here to 131 yards. Yeah. That's insanely lofty, light. Yeah. Beautiful yarn. Yeah. And of course it'll look stunning in those designs. It feels amazing. Yeah. This is the dark burgundy. Yeah. Love it. So new Soft Yak, DK, Alpaca Classic. We now have them all. We're really ramping up quickly on this Rowan thing. I can't believe how many of the lines we already have. Crazy. Yeah, it's fun. The yarn for my bikini came in. Yeah. But my trip to Costa Rica, I believe, has been canceled. So I might crochet that up because it was for the retreat. And I don't believe we'll be going now. No. It's because of travel bans, of course. So it's not that I've given up on the starfish bikini. It's coming. There's just not much point in me wearing it in January on Prince Edward Island. No.
Well, you could have it ready for the polar bear swim.
Yeah. If it's going to fall off when it gets wet, I definitely don't want it doing it during the polar bear swim. On a tropical beach in Costa Rica might be one thing. Yeah. Okay, so that's that. And then more exciting news.
Yes, very exciting.
Guess what we have again? And I put this on Instagram stories and nobody really jumped at it. No. Because I think a lot of people don't watch those. But, and I put it in the newsletter too, though.
I don't know, but we have...
Probably did, but we've got a boodle of these now. Yeah. And they were super in demand.
52 weeks of socks.
Yeah, 52 weeks of socks by Lina. Yeah. And, 52 sock patterns. Yeah. So, it just smells delicious.
I know. And it's a cloth covered. It's like an old-fashioned, high-quality book.
And we're keeping one for ourselves. Yeah. Because we're always so generous that way. We sell everything. Even our own personal copies. And this will be one for us because, look at these slippers are in here, too. Yeah. Yeah. Lovely. I know. Well, they cannot read that. No. Trust me, you're not making those slippers from that. Yeah. So yeah, exciting to have this back in. It's always sad when something really takes off and then you can't get more right away. Yeah. But I love the smell of it. Christmas is if you love libraries, Yeah. Yeah. Christmas is a great time to get this book, do your holiday knitting, whatever. Yeah. Socks, what could possibly go wrong? Right. And then another book that we periodically get in but haven't had a ton of is the Vintage Shetland Project, Susan Crawford's book, which has quickly become sort of an iconic piece. Yeah. And we have talked about it before.
A library essential if you're serious about Shetland knitting.
We talked about this time last year when I was inviting Keanu Reeves to come to our farm. Hasn't shown up yet. No. Thanks, Keanu.
How did that come up?
Thanks for the love. I don't know, it was the movie I was watching. Oh. But for some reason I just remember because we talked about it the same episode.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I know, it's the things that I take up memory space with that I really shouldn't, and then the other important stuff that I cannot retain. Oh. That's the way it goes. Yeah. So this is in. So a lot of people covet this book quite a lot, and of course it's always wrapped, which I complained about last time. Yeah. But it is nice to have it protected.
But that's our copy.
Oh. Might open that later then. Yeah. Jeez, it weighs a lot. Yeah. Weighs like 3 pounds.
Yeah, we know that for sure.
Because we shipped it. Okay. So, I think that's it.
Really?
Yeah.
And your tooth never fell out. during the episode.
I'm not in a good mood today, everyone. Because I was at the dentist this morning. I don't know why I schedule these things for recording day.
I don't know.
Vet appointments, dental appointments. Yeah. Don't do it.
No.
Because you don't know what kind of frame of mind you'll be in by 3 o'clock that afternoon.
Well, you're okay today.
I'm kind of okay, but it's going to be really expensive.
Yeah.
So I have a retained baby tooth. Mm-hmm. I'm now calling her Beulah.
Yes.
Beulah the baby tooth.
Did we talk about that before?
No. But
never?
About a year and a half ago, she lost her blood supply. Yeah. And I said to my very sympathetic sister, my baby tooth has died. I think. It's changed color. And she said, oh, is there going to be a funeral? Actually, I think it was, will we be having a funeral? But I was genuinely distraught. Because Beulah and I were getting along great. Yeah. And I was fine with her in there.
Beulah's way past her best before day.
I know. It's an eye tooth. I thought it was a canine, but I've been corrected at the dentist. Anyway, long story short, Beulah has taken enough abuse. She's chewed her last. Yeah. She's now loose and probably coming out. And I do have the permanent tooth above, but according to my dentist this morning, that sucker's not moving. Yeah. It's not going to come down without 2 years of braces. Not happening.
But I don't understand how the braces bring that tooth down because
it opens up the space. There's not room. That's why the permanent tooth who doesn't have a name.
But you thought your teeth moved.
Is hitched up there. I thought maybe my teeth had moved. Yeah. But the dentist says they didn't.
Oh, okay.
So, and I know that the dental assistant is or the hygienist is watching, so I don't want to argue with that.
No.
Dr. Murphy said it's not moving. It didn't move.
Okay.
Which I was like so excited. I thought when I saw the X-ray, it looked like maybe it had moved. I mean, obviously it's wishful thinking.
But on that my would really part, be something.
It would really be something if the tooth came in at age 46. Yeah. I would be thrilled because you know why? It would save me $5,000. Yeah. Because now I need an implant to replace Beulah. Mm. I'd rather just keep Beulah.
Yeah. Now Beulah's looking good. Even though she's not the right...
Beige or otherwise, Beulah can stay. But in the meantime, I've gotten an abscess in her. Yeah. And that's not good either. No. So I'm afraid Beulah is not in good health.
Yeah. And what kind of tricks... Now you looked up how long it takes to grow baby teeth or at your adult teeth when you're 8 and what is it 6 months?
Yeah, for them to come in sometimes.
So I'm getting calls every morning. Do you remember when you lost your front teeth how long you were actually with the gap in your... No, I don't remember. 6 months probably.
Terrible.
That's a new
So I'm gonna have a hole.
Yeah.
Because they have to take the tooth out and then they do a bunch of stuff and it's all going to heal and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And it's like an 18-month process or something to get this implant finished before I won't have a gap there. So you can bet we'll be switching sides.
Right. But just tell the folks what you did.
What did I do?
Test it.
So I know. So I've already...
We're all about swatching around here.
I'm so uptight about like this tooth thing. I went and I covered it in black mascara. And then I was like, just trying to see like how it's going to look for 18 months with no tooth.
But I don't think you have to be the whole 18 months with nothing there.
Well, I don't know.
Based on my experience when...
Okay, because anyway, so be prepared. At the festival next year, I'm going to be like, hey,
Should be... Ken says maybe you should adopt a side doctor.
This side of my face is paralysis. I can't do anything on that side.
Oh, you're a wreck.
I can't. It's this part of this left side doesn't move.
Yeah.
I can't wink or anything.
No, but you close this side. Yeah, that's right. You can move that side. Anyway, you should.
I really hope the guy I'm dating is watching this. All right.
Yeah.
Ready?
All right. And then your mother will write to you and say, you better stop that. It'll stay like that.
Yeah. It wasn't a good day.
See it anyway. I don't want to say that.
If I sit on the other side?
If you have a mask. You should get a mask with your mouth, a picture of your mouth with all your teeth in it.
That's right. I'll be the most consistent mask wearer on Prince Edward Island for the next 18 months.
No one will know.
Everyone will be like, there's no need for masks anymore. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm leaving mine on.
I think you should get one done with a photograph. You can get them with photographs. Photograph yourself smiling and then get the mask.
I'm laughing through my tears.
No, do it. Do it. It'll be hilarious. No. And you can get one like this, and you can get one like that. So and then you can just change them with your mood.
I'm going to guess that the oral surgery waiting time on PEI is a good 4 to 6 months. So
yeah. Anyway,
I'm not going to worry about it right now.
Perfect solution. It's going to be fun. Hilarious.
Well, I surely will be wearing
you get one with your tongue.
Yeah, I'll be wearing one everywhere for real.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I'll look like I have no tooth.
Which you won't.
I know. It's like right in the front too.
Yeah.
And I put it off. I mean, every dentist I've ever had, and I've moved a lot, and I've had a lot of different dentists, has said, you should really deal with that. It's not going to last forever. And now the rubber has hit the road.
That's right.
The enamel has hit the drill.
Yeah.
My time is up.
Yeah, the tooth is going to hit the floor.
Yeah, and I really wish I had dealt with it before we ran our own business when I had insurance.
Yeah, that would be great.
So that would have been smart.
Yeah. Gosh.
Anyway, you'll notice
maybe
at
we'll
some
have
point.
To start a GoFund you.
Yeah, GoFund you. A GoFund you. Oh my god, we're delirious.
Oh my. Okay.
I don't think I'm gonna start a GoFundMe for my dental work.
GoFund you.
GoFund you.
It's a new thing.
What's it actually called? GoFundMe? GoFund you? GoFundMe. GoFundMe. Fund me? I have no idea, but it's not GoFund you. That's the maritime version. Oh my goodness.
All right.
Anyway, feel free to share your dental implant stories.
Yeah.
Probably would have been cheaper when I was 19 when I first discovered
only
it.
Slightly.
Okay.
All right.
Gosh, not that it's not worth every penny.
Yeah.
Much love to the dentists.
Yeah.
And the poor dental hygienist who tried to help me
Yeah.
this morning, talk me through this. And she's a customer of ours, so thank you for your compassion.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have a couple Ask Us Anythings.
Okay.
A Cass asks, is it possible to knit sleeves flat rather than in the round on a top-down sweater or cardigan? Because they're running into a gauge issue once they go in the round, even with shorties or what have you. But I'll tell you, I've done this.
Oh.
I have actually done this, and it was in the pattern, and maybe for this reason.
Okay.
So on the pattern I did, and I think it was the Stephanie Jappel pattern, that cabled sweater that I wore, ballerina top, ballet top that I wore ages ago.
Yeah.
It's still here somewhere. I like that. Where is that?
It was beautiful.
I need to maybe wear it next episode.
Yeah.
So I think how it worked was you started the sleeve, and then after you got a little bit done in the round, and then she switched it to flat.
Okay.
And so it was like a butterfly pork chop.
Okay.
Basically. Which is not complicated at all.
No.
Because once you've joined it, who cares?
Yeah.
And then just start knitting flat.
Yeah.
Do your stitch counts, do your reductions as you would.
Right.
And then I sewed it together at the end.
Yeah.
So that's a way to do it.
So when I saw this question, I wasn't sure. I think I made a comment. Was this in the forum?
No.
Oh, okay. So I think this person has asked this question
in the forum as well.
Or I read it somewhere. Anyway, but I didn't really answer because I've never done it.
Right.
But what I was wondering was, when would you start the flat? Because you need to pick up the stitches under the arm and
right after picking it up.
Okay, so that's perfect then. Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, I may have done a couple rows and then I'm like, well, this is really strange. Why would the designer have done it this way? And I think I even sent Stephanie a note at the time and said, why would you have done this? And she had a different reason.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, that's how that pattern was written. And it was fine. You know, it makes perfect sense, right?
Yeah.
Like join it in the round and then start knitting flat. So your tension, for this part, sure, it might be off a tiny bit. But then you can immediately go to flat from that point forward.
Great.
So I have actually done that.
Yeah.
And I'll try to remember to wear the sweater next time.
So what was this knitter... Because small circumference tension in the round was not the same
either
as
with Magic Loop or with shorties.
Oh, okay.
I think their tension was off enough to be a problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So that's a way around it. Absolutely.
You're
easy to
already a cast one step ahead. The fact that you knew that.
Right. Good for you.
Yeah.
Where's like Ken going on his bike?
So, I had to take the sign down for the store.
Okay. Wow. Okay. And then our other Ask Us Anything was from Beetlejuice. What's the top Jennifer is wearing in episode 33? It's Ranunculus by Midori Heroes. And I had it on today because I thought, well, I'll show it while I answer the question. But then I got so excited about this rocket tee, I ditched the Ranunculus somewhere and put this on instead.
Swirl.
Yeah, but that Ranunculus is amazing. I definitely wear it more than anything else I've ever knitted. And the gray one, too, because I have two of them. And the purple one that I'm wearing in episode 33 is one ball of our Eldon lace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beads.
It's the beaded one, the Swarovski one. It's one of our most popular episodes. I had that on the thumbnail. Yeah. Actually, it is our most popular episode. We've had over 10,000 views because of that beautiful beaded Ranunculus. It's nice. That nice. Yeah. If I do say so. Yeah. So it's a favorite. Yeah. I mean, I've knit all kinds of projects, obviously, since we started this whole gong show. And I don't wear very many of them. Yeah. But I really wear that one. I know. I don't know what's with me. You're so practical in your choices. I kind of knit funky stuff sometimes, and
yeah, like you should grab that sweater over there.
No, but I will show a couple of other FOs. Yeah. So I think these were knit by my mother's grandmother. Is that right?
Grammy Alice?
No, Florence.
Oh, she have knit these? No. She's an aunt. She was an aunt.
Who knit these?
I don't know.
Okay. Our mother will correct us. Yeah. I thought it might... Oh.
If it was Florence is an aunt.
Okay. What was the grandmother's name? Granddad's mother.
Dilly.
I think it was Florence in it. Okay. I'm all confused. I don't even know my own
Dilly
family.
Wasn't her real name. That's what they called it.
She was a real Dilly. Yeah. Anyways, one of those lovely ladies knit me these two sweaters. Mm-hmm. These weren't hand-me-downs, were they? No. I think they were knit for me. Yeah. Okay. So this is adorable. But the funny thing is, Rachel was over the other night and we were knitting 6 feet apart on my humongous sectional couch. And she thinks she has this book from Beehive. Yeah. And her daughter, one of her daughters, they're in their early 20s now, has this sweater. Yeah. That was also knit for him. Do you remember those classic Beehive books? And it was like all that was really available back then. And everybody had the same 12 books. Yeah. So I think it's a Beehive pattern. I didn't want to find it, but I haven't as of yet. But I really love just using a little bit of moss stitch to add interest.
And the little cute little button just at the
top. How sweet is that? And it does come with a hat. So where's my hat, Mom? My mother dropped these off. Where's the hat? I know there's a matching hat with a white ribbon on the side. Yeah. Because that was what Rachel said. Was there a matching hat with a white ribbon? I go, I think there was. And it's definitely the same pattern.
Are you going to show your set on the baby that you gifted your little lamb to?
No.
Why not?
Well, because I don't have permission to show that baby.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You thought of
that. Yeah. Well, I don't. It's somebody else's baby. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
It will be lovely over a little dress.
The sweater looked fine. What I laughed at was the hat. Because one of our viewers, Brenda, said, I don't know about those ties.
Because they could strangle the baby.
Yeah. Anyway, if you see the picture if you're allowed to show the picture.
I'm sure the woman who owns the baby thought I had lost my mind when I knit those, but it was the pattern. They were 20 inches long.
Brenda had a theory that hat was meant for photography.
Only. Not for real life. No, that was my theory.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. The hat looked cute. And
it's cute.
The sizing was all out. Like the hat was too big and anyway.
Well, that's okay.
But it looked great on her 18-month-old.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
The hat, but it's still down to the ground.
Oh. It was a cute project. The sweater is
cute.
And the hat is fine. She just needs to grow into it.
Mm-hmm. She'll be wearing it until she's 15.
They need to play that, what is it? Baby Beethoven?
What does that have to do with it?
What? Makes your brain bigger.
Oh, Baby Beethoven. I remember that now. Is that still a thing, I wonder?
I don't know.
It's like the baby genius thing. Baby
Yeah.
Einstein.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Is baby Einstein still a thing? I remember when my friends started having kids, it was all about the baby Einstein.
Yeah.
I don't even know what it is. Is it a set of books?
I
Tapes?
I think it was DVDs, maybe?
DVDs,
yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
I have no kids, so I have no idea.
We weren't Einsteins. Okay. And anyway,
we're still not.
I don't know if this is a beehive one too, but I never had an appreciation for these because I never knit. Mm-hmm. But like, how cute is this with the little stag cables?
Yeah, and the cable on the.
I know.
Yeah.
So fun. So if these look familiar from back in the beehive days, let us know in the comments.
I'm sure we might even see pictures of the beehive.
Oh,
book.
by all means. Yeah. Someone will send us a copy, most likely.
Yeah.
So, you lost a tooth to the Climax mixture, and mine gave up. Same week.
Yeah.
Maybe the Climax mixture finally finished Beulah off, too.
Are you a cruncher?
A little bit, but I usually use my molars.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's what you broke, too.
Yeah.
So I don't think it was the Climax mixture.
No. I'm not a cruncher anymore.
It's time to pay the piper. Pay the dentist.
Yeah, 46 years is a long time for a baby tooth. Held on as long as it could.
No props for me, Beulah.
No.
Get your act together. And now you're infected. How dare you?
Yeah.
I have to be on antibiotics for 10 days. Oh, good grief.
Oh.
It's never dull here, folks.
No.
Never dull.
It was exciting. All right.
So have we rambled on
I think so.
long enough? I'd say so.
Yeah. So just a reminder. Midnight in the afternoon.
Get your ticket.
Because
you will now earn back your admission with a ROWAN discount if you're so inclined to purchase something that's featured.
That's right.
Yeah.
But you won't get the code for the discount until we send out the code for the event, which is the day before the event.
Yeah.
And I wanted to apologize. I didn't mention it when we were talking about the refunds being so late.
Oh my gosh. We didn't know.
We didn't know that.
We didn't know how to refund Eventbrite tickets, essentially.
Yeah.
And it's
when they were paid for through PayPal.
Okay. It's a very involved process, as it turns out.
It's a 3-step process. And we got step 1 done right away. And we got step 2 done right away, but we didn't know that there was a step 3.
Right.
So until somebody, thank goodness,
because people feel bad and they don't want to nag you, but it really was helpful because we had no idea people weren't getting their money.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's all been done. So that's good. We were relieved to know that. Yeah. We missed.
And before we go, let's just talk a little bit about yarn dye bleeding.
Okay.
Because we got a couple questions this week about whether our yarn will bleed. Mm-hmm. It can happen to any dyer.
Yes.
I stand in solidarity with all of my dyeing compatriots in that, of course, it can happen.
Yeah.
So we, out of curiosity, ran a number of experiments.
Of course.
Out in the... Yeah, we did. Scientific experiments. Took us a whole afternoon. We took a bunch of minis in various colors because to me, reds are always the most touchy.
Yeah.
And we wanted to put in the Eucalyptus wool wash to see if that made any difference. And the Eucalyptus wool wash did make it bleed a little teeny tiny bit more. Yeah. Or it released a little bit of color.
Yeah, but not enough to...
But not enough to probably transfer on to, we're concerned about if you have stripes and things.
Yeah.
It's never enough to worry about if it's in something like this or whatever. Mm-hmm. But if you want to put a red with a white, you're talking about the most challenging... It's got to be perfect.
Yeah.
Like it can't bleed at all.
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted to see what would happen. So when we put our yarn in straight cold, which we always advise to do, not lukewarm. Straight cold.
I think that we need to even say, do not touch.
Do not touch the hot water tap near the yarn that I've dyed, or you will get color coming out of it.
Yeah.
Warm water will destroy the color fastness.
Yeah.
So we're going to, when we reprint our labels, we're going to put that on them. Because people think it's lukewarm. It's not lukewarm. And if you've watched us from the beginning, I've said this like a dozen times, and I'm deadly serious about it. I'm talking straight cold.
Yeah.
And even then, if you're going to do red and white side by side, test it on a swatch.
Yeah. I did that with my Cornwallis.
Yeah. Block it the way you're going to block it or whatever, and just make sure. Because if any little bit comes out, you're going to want to know that that's what you're facing. Because what I would do personally, if I was trying to pull that off, and it is a challenging thing to pull off, red next to white with no bleeding. It would be challenging even in a commercial yarn.
Yeah.
Because red dye is just fussy like that. I would re-rinse the skeins myself.
Yeah.
And if you plan on washing them in lukewarm water, you better re-rinse them in lukewarm. But I'm going to tell you, it's probably going to continuously come off every time you put warm water on it. Because heat is what strikes dye.
Yeah.
If you add heat back in, you've reopened that chemical process.
Yeah.
and you're just asking for trouble.
Right.
So in our experiments, the only way we could get it to bleed was when we added a few drops of hot water.
Yeah, and it didn't take much.
It didn't take much.
I was surprised.
Yeah.
Because what you don't know is that every time Jennifer would be demanding that it be cold water without, I would say, well, if it's a little bit. And then we'd end up in a fight and we'd have to cut that out of the thing. Don't say
no more water.
Anyway, so I don't know why I do it, but I was talking with Janet that works in the mill with us as well. And so I said to her, because we did all these experiments, we had buckets out and we were like soaking different yarns and together with white and whatever.
Bright red and bright orange. And
yeah. And I said to her, when you block, what do you do? She goes, well, I put cold water. And I said, do you really do cold water? I said, do you do straight cold water? Well, she says, I put a little bit of warm. I said, yeah.
No.
I said, okay, why do you do that? And she goes, well, I don't know. I just put a little bit of cold. I do the same thing.
You put warm water. She put warm water in with the yarn.
Yeah, I did.
Because after sitting next to me here saying, don't put any warm water in it, any warm water at all. Straight out of the well. She went and did it.
Yeah. So, and I don't know why. It's kind of something like, and it obviously must be some kind of human nature that you just feel so that, but when we did the experiment, it didn't take much warm water.
Didn't take much warm water to release.
So we put like a bright red in with a white skein.
Yeah. And
we had cold water straight out of the tap. There was not a
smidge.
Not a smidge.
And there was nothing on the white after half an hour.
Nothing after half an hour we left it. The water still didn't even feel warm.
No. And it did bleed.
It was not as cold,
with warm
obviously,
water.
but it did bleed.
And what people think is warm to the touch. But remember, like, your body is 37 degrees.
Yeah.
You know, like, you're talking lukewarm, like you test a baby bottle. That's hot.
Anybody, with all of the sourdough that's been made.
Right.
Anybody that's been doing water temperatures for their sourdough like they should be at, what is it, like 83 degrees or whatever, it's quite cool.
Yeah.
Even though you think 83 degrees sounds like it's hot. I was surprised when I was doing sourdough that I was always making it too hot. I had to cool it down. I always measured it.
Yeah.
But I had to
So
cool
please do not do lukewarm, room temperature. Do straight cold out of the tap.
Yeah.
And if if you're going to attempt something like putting a dark color next to a white in a knitted project, you're better off to test it in a swatch first, see how it behaves,
and see what
and then you could try rinsing the skeins again. But honestly, I rinse them, and it doesn't matter how much you rinse them. If you go and then turn around and put warm water on the finished project, you're asking for trouble.
And just to clarify, when you say warm, it doesn't really feel warm.
Anything from the hot tap at all.
Yeah.
Anything from the hot tap at all, and you've gone too far.
Yeah.
And the thing is that the dyes we use are GOTS certified. They're organic dyes. They use different ingredients, of course, than the regular commercial dyes. The man who makes them has had them scientifically tested in a lab for color fastness. But even at that, I mean, anyone who has any scientific background whatsoever can appreciate that the tolerance level is not going to be 0.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's never going to be perfect. No. So we just want to try to prevent anyone's project from getting messed up.
Yeah, we were really disappointed when we got those notes because we don't want anybody not to love their project, to be disappointed with their project. So we invested the time to figure it out because we really wanted to know the answer.
Yeah.
And that was what came out of the experiment.
Yeah. And red next to white is about the most challenging you could do.
Yeah. And I've had things where I've had dark stripes, and it was only the red that had bleeding. So red is a little bit tricky. It's tricky too. So
So I just want to reiterate: straight cold out of the tap, not lukewarm, not room temperature, none of that.
Yeah.
Cold water is your best bet. But again, anyone who has been in this industry or dyed yarn will tell you that it's never going to be foolproof. The tolerance level for color fastness is not 0%.
Yeah.
So you just have to be aware and try to protect yourself. And I mean, you can re-rinse them, but if you re-rinse them in cold, but then put them in warm at some point, that's not the same.
Yeah.
You're not going to get the same result. It will possibly transfer. Because then what you've done is you've also put the white in warm. And that helps the dye that's loose strike on the white.
Yeah.
So heat and pH is what causes yarn to go into a fabric. And when you add any heat, you're potentially, getting involved in that chemical process that's the reaction needed to take place to attach the color to the fabric. So not only have you loosened it on the red, you've now made the white warm so that it can strike.
Yeah, receptive to that.
Yeah. So it's an issue.
Yeah.
So we hope that helps.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not meant to be a lecture.
No, do I sound lecturing? It's just
I know, but I was afraid when we were going to start talking about it that it would sound like a lecture, and it's not. Like, we were really wanted to figure it out.
Yeah.
We asked all kinds of questions, and not because we just wanted to. It was because we really were disappointed that had happened.
Yeah. So, anywho.
Yeah.
That's really it. That's really it. Now we're going.
Yeah. So we'll just remind you that you can join our Ravelry group, or you can join our forum on our website. And don't forget to give a thumbs up if you like the episode, and subscribe. Would be great.
Yes.
If you subscribe, and if you turn on the notifications, you'll even get a little bell when we
release a video.
Yes.
So thank you all for being here so much.
Yeah.
And we'll see you in 2 weeks. And what will that be then? The event will be over.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. This is our last episode.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, we look forward to seeing you all online then.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, this is it. This is
the last one. Next time we'll be talking about how great it was and how much of the special dessert we ate it.
Yeah, and you don't want to be FOMO.
No. Right. You're so
I'm so with
techy
it.
with the lingo. So
with
it. Yeah. Okay. Bye, everybody.